Restrict Seccomp in your Kubernetes pods. Secure Computing Mode feature, also known as Seccomp, focuses on limiting what system calls your containers are able to execute. Why is this important? Well, containers are just a process running inside a given machine. It shares the kernel with all the other applications. If all containers could make any system calls, malicious programs would not take long to bypass the container isolation and affect other applications, eavesdrop information, change system level settings, etc. Your Seccomp profiles define what system calls should be allowed or blocked, and the container runtime will apply them at container start time so the kernel can enforce it. Once applied, you effectively decrease your attack surface and limit the damage if anything inside your container, i.e. your dependencies or their dependencies, start doing something they should not be allowed to. Let's see how to implement a policy to continuously check we don't have such a situation. Disallow localhost external name services in your Kubernetes. A service type of external name that points back to localhost can potentially exploit vulnerabilities in some ingress controllers. Let's see how to implement a policy to check continuously we don't have such a situation. Kubernetes pods, OOM killed due to container limit reached. This is by far the most simple memory error you can have in a pod. You set a memory limit, one container tries to allocate more memory than allowed, and it gets an error. This usually ends up with a container dying, one pod unhealthy, and Kubernetes restarting that pod. The exit code 137 is necessary because the system terminated the container as it tried to use more memory than its limit. To monitor this, you always have to look at the use of memory compared to the limit. The percentage of the node memory used by a pod is usually a bad indicator as it does not indicate how close to the limit the memory usage is. In Kubernetes, limits are applied to containers, not pod, so monitor the memory usage of a container versus the limit of the container. Let's see how to implement a policy to continuously check we don't have such a situation.